Today's episode of the Hold Your Applause podcast is brought to you by Juggernaut Cookies. Next week, we will be launching our new, and just for reference, the day is the 23rd of April. Next week, we will be launching our brand new Bells and Whistles shortbread cookie. It comes in a cup that fits in your cup holder, approximately 10 to 12 cookies, and they are absolutely delicious. The most buttery, delicious cookies you've ever had. So if you'd like to try them, use promo code CookiePro10 to save 10% at www.cookiehunk.com, along with the other products. Once again, that's www.cookiehunk.com. We are also brought to you by Reba's Rescue. That's probably the sexiest animal rescue you've ever been to. If you go in this place, I mean, they spent like $10,000 on just light fixtures. It's ridiculous. They have chandeliers and shit, like the dogs know what a chandelier looks like. But it is beautiful, and the staff over there, their passion is to find great homes for all these dogs, cats, and or other animals. So if you are in the market for a fuzzy friend, a playmate, or a family member, please go to www.rebasrescue.com. Tell them Britt sent you, and you'll get a free bag of Juggernaut dog treats, huh? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not? I got her. I made her. I obligated her to do it, y'all.
No.
Once again, that's www.rebasrescue.com. Welcome to another edition of Hold Your Applause podcast. I am your host. I am Antoine, the Juggernaut Britt, here with my lovely host, Britt the Shit Daniels. What's up, Britt? How you doing?
Thank you. That was awesome.
It was pretty good, right?
Tell us more about your buttery, delicious snacks.
Shortbreads are pretty self-explanatory, but they are quite delicious. They're small, about the size of a 50-cent piece, and I love shortbreads. Anytime the Girl Scouts come around, that's what I get. What are they called? The turfoils? The Girl
Maybe.
Scouts?
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And those are shortbreads, so that's what I always go to. I feel like they're not too sweet, not too bland. It's like the perfect amount of sweetness. Well, I took that and I wanted to incorporate it into a Juggernaut recipe. And the one thing that those cookies do miss is like that buttery homemade shortbread taste. So we created one. So the people are going to love it. If you like shortbreads, you'll love these.
I can't wait. Speaking of shortbread, it's a funny story. When I used to play basketball in high school, my coach used to call me shortbread.
Really? Why did he call you shortbread?
It was a her.
Why did she call you shortbread?
I don't know. She had multiple names for me, pet names.
She had pet names for you?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I mean, they were all like little bit shortbread. And anything that involved being small and tasty, I guess. Now I feel weird after you described it.
Did you have any nicknames that made you sound like aggressive, or you were a force on the court?
No.
No?
No. Because
Man.
we didn't want to intimidate everyone.
Really? And you played for what high school?
What high school?
Yeah, what high school?
Atlantic Shores.
Atlantic Shores, okay.
Yeah.
Man, they've never been good at basketball.
And then I went to college, and I went to LSU. Then I transferred to Iowa.
You got such a straight face.
And then I
She
taught.
didn't go to any of those places.
Yeah.
She did run bases at Alabama. Didn't you?
No, I got offered.
You got offered.
But that's a different story.
That's true. You were going to be
Just a base runner. They were like,
yeah,
we don't
base
want you to hit. We don't want you to literally touch the ball. As soon as our pitcher hits the ball, we want you to go on first base.
Were you that fast?
I was fast.
Really?
Yeah. But
That's cool.
I couldn't do anything else, and I was like, But I was already going in on probation because my grades were too bad, and they were like, And I was like,
Now you went to Bayside for a little while too,
Yeah, I
right?
did.
Was
Before
that
high
before or
school.
after Atlantic Shores?
Before.
Okay, so you went
Yeah.
to Bayside.
I graduated from Atlantic Shores.
So you was in the hood and then you moved on up?
Yeah, but I played Little League in Norfolk, Azalea, so I was always still connected with all my girlies.
Yeah. You grew up in it, like that whole, is that would that be considered
Azalea is
Hatewood?
like Lake Taylor area, whatever that's. But yeah, did what is it? All Stars. It was fun. But anyway. But yeah, I'm just letting you know that one of my nicknames in high school, and I was like, can we stop? Can we stop this?
It's cool. I mean, there's a lot. My nickname was Big Mac.
I can see that. So it makes sense.
So
shortbread
ain't so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I was chunky. I was a chunky kid. I had a growth spurt the summer after my freshman year in high school, and that's when I kind of got trim. But before that, I was fat, motherfucker.
Like how fat?
I was chunky. I think my freshman year in high school, I weighed like 220.
How tall were you? 4'11"?
give or take. No, I was average height, maybe like 5'5", 5'6".
My goodness.
Yeah.
And how fat were you?
I was 220. I was a butterball, man. I was a butterball, and I got sick of being fat. And that's in middle school. In middle school, I didn't really care too much because it was middle school. But when you have it's like, I don't know if your high school was like this, but it wasn't. We had two different areas, and they funneled into the same high school. So these were kids that you probably wouldn't see in middle school. And when I got to high school, it was like, man, all these girls, and none of them like a fat motherfucker. So I was, and that's kind of, come on now.
You just had to find a Miss Big Mac or whatever.
My boy DM gave me that name, Big Mac.
Did you like Big Macs? Is that why?
I liked everything. I liked everything.
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, my weapon of choice, my go-to meal was 2 hot dogs and 2 packs of ramen noodles.
A day? Or like an hour? An hour? Or what? Like, what are we doing?
It was rough, man. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, I think ramen you can get like $5 or $6 for $1 or some shit back then.
No, I still get it at that. It's like you can get like 20 packs for like $5.99.
Really? Man,
my kids love it.
They love ramen?
Oh,
ramen's
I love
a thing.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll eat it. It's like all the sodium that you ingest in one little pack is like you're good for a year. That's your yearly intake.
When I was trying to like die, so I finally got into like, so I was fat that year, and then in my summer, I had nothing to do. Like, we didn't go on vacation. I had nothing to do, and I was, waiting for football season. And so I would just sit in my room. I had my Letterman's coat on, and we had a kerosene heater. I would light the kerosene heater, close the door, and just run in place, jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups in place. I did that shit all summer.
Wow.
I left my freshman year in high school at 220, 225, and I came back for football at 175.
Wow.
My football coach, Coach Scott, he was like, "What the fuck did you do?" Because I was a lineman. I was, and I came back at 175.
What made you do that?
Were
you getting joked?
I just wanted to, I didn't do it to lose weight. I did it so I can be in better football shape. And, at that age, it's like if you have weight, take care of yourself, you're going to, be pretty lean. It's not hard, So.
That's awesome.
Oh, it wasn't hard for me. It was weird. It was weird when I went back to school. But the good thing about that is, like, when I walked into school my sophomore year, I was like, okay, I felt confident.
Wow.
I had a little job, too, over the summer, so I was able to buy all my own clothes and shit.
Oh, no. What kind of job?
Oh, man. So they had a program called the Teen Program in Chesapeake. And if you're from Chesapeake, you know what this Teen Program is. So it allowed you to work even though you were too young to work. You can be younger than 16. I think you can be 14 and get a job. And I worked for the janitor at Indian River Rec Center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was just like, whatever bullshit she didn't want to do, she made me do.
Aw.
And so, and like every 2 weeks, I would get a check for like $325.
What? That's.
Dude, I was like, I thought I was balling. That? Wow. I thought I was balling. Yeah, $325 every 2 weeks.
What year was this? Like 1920? Like what do you mean? Like, I feel like you should report that.
So it was like it was like 1995.
Are we sure about that?
$4.95. Huh. Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, $3.
Here's your 47
I don't
cents.
know about that.
Pay me in roller quarters.
Wow.
But I was able, that summer I was able to go like buy my own clothes and yeah.
With $3.
I would save as much. I would give my mom some, obviously, living expenses.
Fair rent.
My mom was ruthless, bro. She's like, if you got a job, you're going to contribute I don't give a fuck how much you made.
You did not make $3 in
I
the
said
year of
$3.25.
Okay, $3.25 in the year of 1995. Antoine, what year was this?
I think it was like.
How old are you?
I think the minimum wage was like $7.25 an hour.
I think it was
like that.
no, it was way less than that. Because when I started
Or
working in
$6.25.
2004, minimum wage was $5.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am very positive about that because yes.
I don't know if that's right. We
It
might
is
need to
true.
look that
Google
shit
it.
up.
Google it.
Yeah, but you know.
I'm just saying.
Every 2 weeks I had
yeah.
a check for like $325,
you
$26. I
Oh,
said
oh,
$3.25.
I thought you meant $3.25.
Why would it be $3.25?
I don't know.
We had a couple drinks before we came and recorded.
That's why I was like, "What
not
year?"
a good idea for Brittany.
Okay. Well, you have to be specific.
I said every 2 weeks I made $3.25.
I thought you
Who the
meant.
fuck is making $3.25 every 2 weeks? $3.25.
That's why I said those things. I was like, wait, what? So that's okay.
So it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, like $325 about every 2 weeks. Bought my own
You
clothes.
said your mom was asking for living expenses. It's all $3.25. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Man, what was the story
Topic.
you were telling me earlier today about the
What?
guy? He said he was in the weeds.
Yeah, I'm not too bright.
You want to tell people the story?
So, what do they call them? Like sayings. Like what are they called? Like when you're making, I don't know the right word. When you're making, I don't know. When
Like
you're saying, like,
yeah.
what is it? I don't know.
Euphemism?
Anyway, so I was dating this
that-
guy who was much older than me. I was in my early 20s. I really liked him a lot. When I say much older, I would say like 5 years.
Okay.
Anyway, he was working a lot. I was trying to get a hold of him one day, and he sent me a text a few hours later, and he was like, "Sorry, I've been in the weeds." My reply was, "Oh, wow, you garden?"
God damn it.
I honestly think he said, "Haha, you're funny."
I would break up with you immediately after that shit.
I had no idea what he was talking about.
You garden?
I mean, I figured it out eventually, and I was like, "God, I'm
Like, yeah, today. When you say eventually today, you figured it out.
And I was like, that's what he meant. And I haven't heard from him since.
No, that was the last time you heard from him?
No, I think he
Man.
just knew what
But I think we all do that at some point, though. It's like we skim over details, and if you do that enough, you're going to miss some pivotal shit that would have told you everything you needed to know. You're probably
I mean,
like,
well, he
you
probably thought my
just read the
personality,
text.
he probably thought I was being sarcastic or like funny, but I really was genuine. Just in that previous conversation we just had about $3.25, I actually thought you were talking about $3.25. See,
Yeah,
I need
you did. I'm pretty sure
specifics.
that no one else is listening thought I was talking about $3.25.
Probably not.
It's okay.
Yeah.
At least you're pretty. That's cool.
Oh, thank you. It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I remember around the same time, having jobs growing up. I worked in some restaurants, and that was a term we used a lot in the weeds. Like if you had like a lot of tickets and you had to like pump food out and shit. So
Yeah, I just didn't know. I've never used it, but I have used it since. But I was very genuine, and it's embarrassing. And I share my embarrassing moments with anyone and everyone.
going back to the ramen thing, you look like a slurper.
What does that even mean?
You look like one of
What? Is
you
that-
ever
this
heard
is a
somebody
PG?
eat noodles or like spaghetti or noodles.
Oh,
and they eat it.
okay. I don't look like a slurper. The way you say that, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. That's the weirdest. Thank you, though.
God, it's the most annoying thing ever. We were
I've been
talking
told
about it
that.
earlier. It's like, what's the worst foods that you can have on a first date? And spaghetti and wings.
Anything
Chicken
where
wings.
you have to eat that's messy, like saucy.
Yeah. Like
I'm not
sauce.
a slurper. I hate. I just feel like a noodle is gonna slap you in the cheek. You're not gonna
It
know,
does.
and it's like you don't really know the person,
That
so
shit's
you're
all
like,
over your face and shit, all over your lips.
I just prefer to not eat on a first date.
Really?
Or ever.
I would if I went on a first date and the girl didn't eat, I'd be like, first date, last date.
Mm-hmm. We know.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Okay, Big Mac. We know.
Seriously, like
I know. No, I'm saying
bare minimum, you want whoever you're going out with to at least give the illusion that they're having a good fucking time.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So, and not eating at dinner does not relay that.
No, I agree. If you agree on a dinner date, then obviously I don't think you should order just like a salad. Eat what you want.
Yeah, eat what you want.
You know.
I mean, you don't order like...
What?
I mean, I guess order whatever you want.
Order the most expensive thing on the menu.
Do you eat
Test
before?
the man.
Do you eat before you go out?
No.
On a first date?
No.
Just in case
No.
you want to get out of there soon?
I've never been... But you know me, I'm not like... I don't like revolve my life around food. But I've never been on a date where I've eaten before. And I would always order what I wanted to on the menu.
Have you ever went on a first date drunk? Like had one too many and then went on the first date? Hold
no.
please.
But I have been on 2 first dates in one day.
What?
Back in the day, my prime.
Jeez.
And so I had only...
She looks so proud.
I am. Because I'm like such a... Like, it's like a... Oh. So I went out with one guy, didn't know, first date, we met for drinks. Then I met this other guy a few hours later for sushi and drinks. So I was pretty like...
Did anything pan out with either one of them?
I think I dated the first guy for a little bit.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So...
Man, I don't know if I would feel some kind of way if I went out with a chick, we ended up having a relationship, and then like 6 months later, she was like, well, you know, I went out with somebody else.
I would never say that. I mean, that's something
it
for
might come out in conversation.
Mine and obviously everybody who's listening to this knows it now, but they don't know what day it was, who it was with. I would never, but I didn't know them. They were just friends.
Yeah.
We're not committed to anyone.
I get it. You're 100% right.
We didn't touch, kiss, or anything. It was just getting to know each other.
Right. Man. On today's show, we're gonna recap 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after. Right, we're gonna do that. Some fireworks on the show this past week. We're also gonna talk about love languages and how important they are, and how important it is for our spouse to understand how important they are to us. And then we have a little debate about Brittany and Justin, and we'll get to that. So, 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after. If you haven't been keeping up, they're kind of jumping all over the place with the couples. Like a couple that was on last week may not necessarily be on this week. So, but consistently the past 2 weeks, Ed and Liz have been on it. Now, we've talked about Big Ed to death on this podcast. He's probably one of the, if you had to have a 90-day favorite, he's definitely one of them. Right.
A favorite?
Well, as far as people who are like popular from that series, right? So like this chick Liz has been up and down the road with Ed. I mean, I feel like they break up every 25 seconds, and and they're just at each other's throat. They fight. It's like I don't feel like there's ever any time where they're not fighting or there's not tension and a fight's about to happen.
Like they should not be together.
They should not be together 100%. They even went as far as go on to like, was it Last Resort? 90 Day to Last Resort. And the Last Resort is exactly that. This is supposed to be a last ditch effort to make your relationship work. And they were even fighting at that shit. So,
but they make good TV.
And they make great TV.
What did she see in him?
Well, okay, so just to kind of like put it in a basket for you. Liz is 30, 29, 30. Ed is like 55, 56. And if you've seen Big Ed, you know Big Ed, from society standards, not the most attractive dude. I mean, he's easily 150, 200 pounds overweight. One. Number two,
how tall is he? Like 5'5"?
I mean, he's like he's not 5'4". I think he might be 5 feet tall. Seriously. Look it up. Look up on your phone. How tall is Big Ed? I don't think he's not much taller than 5 feet. If he's 5 feet, might be 5'2" tops.
Wow.
And he has a condition that makes his neck, he has no neck basically. Well, it's like, whatever, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Totally get it. But while Liz is, I mean, she's cute, right? Would you consider Liz cute?
Yeah.
And I remember when she was first on the show, because Ed used to be with another young lady that was in the Philippines. Didn't work out, and so he comes back home, living with his mother, which is whatever. He meets Liz. She works at a restaurant that's in his neighborhood. You know, gets enough courage to ask her out. She's like, fuck no. But he stays on it. They eventually go out, and now we are where we are right now. But Liz can definitely do better than Big Ed.
Do you think that she's with him because cameras are behind him?
100%.
God, I would never waste my life for that. Like, why?
Yeah. I mean, and they've been, again, up and down the road. They moved from, I think they were in L.A. or in some part of California. They've now moved to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Bought a home there because I believe his family is from that area. And so you moved, you picked up your life and you moved, and she has a young girl too. I think she has a daughter that's maybe 7 or 8 years old. So you pick up, first of all, you pick up your entire life to live with this person.
Yeah.
You know, your decision, whatever. But you do that while having the same problems that you had in the first place. I can see you doing that and you like, okay, man, we had this great, you know, went through our problems, but now we're on level ground. We get along great. It makes sense for us I feel comfortable moving to Arkansas to live with this person. But that was never the case. They still, I mean, I feel like they fight more so than they ever, and they fought a lot before. So
yeah.
It's like,
well, he's just not nice. He's very condescending.
He is. I think Big Ed is super insecure.
Oh,
I think he.
About what though?
I think he.
What does he have to be insecure about? I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
I mean, he's only 5 foot. I mean, let's start there. I mean, he's got a lot to be angry about. Like, why?
I mean, I just don't get why. I don't get why she. Let me take it back. Let me start over. I don't get why he feels the need to treat her the way he treats her.
I agree.
Even if you're insecure, you have like some issues with yourself that you feel like you need to work out. Even if you don't feel like you need to work those issues out, if you just know that these are kind of like fundamental, like, you know, characteristics that I feel like I would love to change or change about myself. I mean, come on, even if you like this person.
Yeah.
So you're on camera, and I think we can all agree you've been on TV. You've been on like you've been on reality TV. I've been on reality TV. So I feel like what the audience gets on reality TV is just an amplified version of who you are, right? But you do put your best foot forward. You want to portray whatever, you know, something kind, something nice, like what you feel like the audience is going to gravitate to, because at the end of the day, you want ratings, right? So if he's treating her like this, being that, just imagine the way he's treating her when the cameras are off. He's probably just a straight dirtbag.
So I actually think maybe it could be I agree with you on everything you just said, but what I was thinking when you were talking was maybe, obviously we all know reality TV, and what if, obviously he knows what's happening off camera, maybe she's the one that is, you know, verbally abusive because she's only with him because the cameras are there, so he's treating her like shit because when the cameras are off, it's, you know...
Yeah,
trash anyway.
Yeah, that could be it.
And then maybe that's why he left and then did all these things because the cameras aren't rolling the whole time. So we only see, like you said, a glimpse of it. So maybe she's like, you know, verbally abusive, like, I don't even love you. We don't know.
You think so? But I feel like if that was the case, that would have come out in some way.
Well, maybe he just wants to stay on the show. So he's trying to keep it Switzerland, and then he's like, maybe. I can't take it anymore. But I mean, honestly, he's not going to get much better, so he needs to like play his cards right.
Yeah,
like, look, suck it up. Whatever you need to do to like, I don't know.
Well, they've almost they've almost been getting married for like the last 3 years and haven't done it yet.
It's never gonna happen.
So, so you touched on the fact that he left. So on this last episode that we just watched, family's over and Ed makes dinner. He made like a spicy taco dish or whatever, and Liz's little girl, is too spicy for her. She can't eat it. And for some reason, I don't know who started the argument. They don't really allude to who started the argument or what, but there's an argument about this meal in front of Liz's family. Mm-hmm. They go to bed, whatever, and when she wakes up the next day, Ed's gone. So a few hours later, she gets a call from their wedding planner, and the wedding planner is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that the wedding's canceled. I hope everything's okay." So he went.
That's crazy.
And canceled the wedding without even fucking telling her, and that is.
I mean, it's over.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, like you don't come back from that.
Yeah, you don't. But we've seen many places where Ed shouldn't have come back from.
Yeah,
and he's come back. Ed's like a cockroach, dude. And I don't know what the for her, I don't know what the fix is, because now she's in Arkansas with this motherfucker. She's, whatever home she either sold or she left or whatever. So she's there now. This is home now. And now the person you left everything for.
Yeah, but her daughter lives in.
Her daughter's living with she's with her now.
I thought it was just for the summer.
I think maybe it is.
I thought that's what they said at the beginning of
Did they say that?
Yeah, she was like, I'm excited because she's with us for the whole summer.
Yeah. Well, even that's the case.
I would take her and just roll.
Just roll out.
Heck yeah. I mean, she's clear. I mean.
Big Ed is a piece of work, man. And he's always been a piece of shit, too. Since season 1, I remember when he was on the very first season, and he told old girl her breast stink. The girl, he's like, "Can you do something about the halitosis or something?"
I mean, he's just not.
He's just like a dickhead. He's not sensitive. He's not really empathetic at all, and he's like Mama Debbie. When we talked about Mama Debbie, how he picks a person, and he just fucks with that person. You know what I'm saying?
But with him, it's his own fiance.
Yeah, with him. So it's he fucks with other people too, though.
Right.
He fucks with other people, but
I mean, nobody really likes him though. Everyone knows. He doesn't have friends.
I think people tolerate him.
Yeah.
Him and the other worst person on this show, Angela, they get along pretty well now. They used to be at each other's throats, but they get along. But because, misery loves company. And people like that, they draw in other people like that. I can't fucking stand that bitch.
We know.
I can't stand her, dude. She is like,
Why?
Anyway, because she's just.
Does she remind you of one of your exes? Tell us about it.
No, she's just a shitty person.
Yeah. She's terrible.
But anyway, we're not talking about her because she's not on this season. So
thank God.
So we have Mahmoud and what's his wife's name?
Oh God, I always forget.
She's like, this girl is like almost transparent. She is so tiny and so pale, and she's a redhead too. I don't know if that's her natural hair color.
Is that how you want to describe someone?
Yeah, absolutely. Because anybody watches it. I mean, she can't weigh more than 110 pounds.
But he's just as tiny.
Yeah,
he's tiny.
He is tiny.
He's like emaciated too. They're the same person. I mean, he's not much bigger. I mean, what do you expect from her?
He's tiny. He's and this is the one thing I can't that relationship has just disintegrated so much.
It's terrible.
It's pretty bad. They don't even the entire time he's here. So he just came over from Egypt. He's Muslim, and first and foremost, and we talked about this on the previous podcast. When you go and you date or you want to be in a relationship with someone from another country, know that country's background, speak that country's language, because every major issue that we see on this show. It has to do with background or religion.
Yeah, and their culture. Understand it.
And mostly and I'm not talking shit about women, but the women from here don't understand the culture and the religion from a male's point of view in wherever country, and it's usually Muslim countries.
I agree.
I think it has in all except one case that I'm thinking about. They're Muslim. They're Muslim religion.
And then the witch, and then she's like, "Well, I'm Catholic."
But even the witch, she like so
no, she tried.
She tried. Yeah. She went to a Catholic church.
But I agree.
And he even tries. He lets her do her little like voodoo shit and like.
But so. I really do feel like men should lead the household anyway. So it's like if you want them to actually be a man, you should actually learn what they are about.
100%. And these women, they go over to these countries, and it's a very conservative country. They don't like she. We're talking about this couple, so she wants to dress the way she wants to dress, which is whatever you can dress any way you want to, but don't marry a Muslim.
Right.
When you do
you're married to a man who likes his wife to be covered up. Then she meets him at the airport with a midriff shirt on. Like, how can you be more disrespectful?
She testing his ass.
Like, at least wear a long sleeve tee. Like, be modest if you're going to be. But that was just like, I agree on that.
Yeah.
I was like,
rough.
You're just trying to start a fight.
It was rough. Would you ever date someone of another religion? But not another religion, but religion that's reflective of what we're talking about. Something that doesn't allow you to dress a certain way or say certain things or show your hair. You can't show your hair.
I would never.
Shit. Yeah.
No.
What if he
it
was
wouldn't work.
What if he was?
I don't care. It wouldn't work.
Nah.
In the long run, maybe for a night, it'd be fine. But no way.
They don't have premarital sex over there.
That's fine. I don't either. So I guess it would work. I don't know.
It would work. And
wow.
then you get married.
Oh my gosh.
And then leave.
Thank you for. Oh wow. Maybe I should.
But online, finally, Mahmoud, people are kind of standing up for Mahmoud because this last episode we watched, they try to like paint him in the corner. So because she had a dress on and had the back out, he didn't want to go out and meet her friends.
Yeah.
He's like, but she knew that. She knew wearing that was going to be the situation, or it could cause a situation.
She's trying to do it.
She's trying. Well, and I also get where she's coming from. She's trying to express herself in a way that might allow him to slowly come over to her side and be a little bit more lenient.
She needs to do that inside their home then. Hey, let's start out baby steps. Yeah. I'm going to wear this around the house. I think in their religion they can wear anything inside their house, but when they walk out. But I'm like, you can wear things without showing like your whole entire back or your lower.
Yeah.
Like she knew what she was getting into. And that's your husband. Respect him.
Respect him. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Like you came over, he came over to this country knowing that it's going to be a culture shock anyway. But then you have that added component of his religion and you're not really abiding by what he's used to. Like she has alcohol in the house. They don't drink alcohol. They're not around alcohol. And I get that. Like my parents are like very religious in a way that like, so I drink, when they come over to my house, I'll drink. I do, what I want in my house. But when I go over to their house, I don't drink. They don't have a drop of alcohol anywhere in the house. I don't bring alcohol over there because I know, like, it's a respect thing. So I don't get why she's having such a hard time just, like, divorce. Man.
Oh, my God.
You all right, Brittany?
No.
I said a D word. She went off. No, it's, what are you doing? So no, it's just weird that she's not really just taking to heart the things that she knows that are like very like.
I think she's doing it on purpose. Nobody tests somebody that much, especially when you're married to them. And if they find it disrespectful, like she's looking for a fight. Yeah. I don't know if that's what she's used to in past relationships, but it's just weird. It's not going to work. Like,
yeah.
Especially when he came over here. What a culture shock. He's going to LA. Like, that's the worst place to go.
The worst place. Dude.
It'd be different if it were like,
like some
in the woods.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're not going to see much. We're going to go to Ruby Tuesdays, and then that's about it.
You love some Ruby Tuesdays, dude. No Chili's.
I love them all. Look.
Oh, man. And then the last couple we're going to talk about is, this couple is actually pretty interesting. Kobe and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
So they went. So Kobe and Emily, he's from Cameroon. She's from like Kansas City or something like that, or she's from a farm.
Yeah.
And he's from Cameroon. They met in Japan. He was a underwear model, and they met and they hit it off, and she got pregnant. Now they have 2 kids together.
I like them.
I like them too.
I think she's genuine.
I think Emily has an issue. Well, let me take this back. Emily has an issue with control.
Yeah.
And she's over in his country. He hasn't been there in a couple years. He wants to go and have fun with his family and friends. And so the culture over there is like women are very subservient, very docile. Like it is not all the thing that she's doing that American women do is like no fly zone over there. But and I think Kobe's doing a great job because he never asked her to change. He just was like, this is what my country is like. And if we don't want any conflict or we don't want any friction with my friends, then just, throttle back a little bit. And it doesn't seem like she got that in her. So she's so there's been some situations to where she got into like shouting matches with some of the friends because they're like, you're being bossy, you're bossy. And when they say she's being bossy, I think that's a language barrier. They feel like you're too, like as a woman, you're too aggressive.
Right. Yeah.
You're too like
you're not submissive.
Yeah. So,
and that's just the culture that she's. I think they'll be fine though. I think it's just like it's just like a shock.
Well,
and
man,
I think they'll be okay though.
I think out of all the couples, I like them.
I think that they actually really love each other, and then that's just cultural differences that she just needs to learn.
Well, it's always
it's her first time over there. She doesn't know.
Yeah,
like it'd be like
know.
anybody that's she's outgoing. She's speaks her mind. What she needs to just like.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if like she could definitely be a little bit more, conservative when she's over there. It wouldn't be. I don't think it would be difficult for her to kind of like take a little bit of the edge off.
I feel like her personality, she would have to really try to think about it to be like, don't do this, don't. But I feel like she didn't know, and I'm sure he didn't explain it to her. But she should have Googled it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with these couples. There's a couple other. Alexi and Lauren are back on. Love that couple.
Yeah.
But they didn't touch on it too much. Lauren wants some plastic surgery, and but nothing really happened with them, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. So tune in. I think they're on TLC Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So check it out. I think so. Speaking of TLC, I saw the preview for MILF Manor.
Oh my God.
Season 2.
Did you see me on there? What's so funny about that? There's nothing wrong with being a MILF.
There's nothing wrong with being a MILF, but I'm excited to cover the show. I think when it comes on, I think this is what we're going to jump to.
It's such a mess.
So if you've never seen MILF Manor, these are a bunch of middle-aged women. So it's like The Bachelor.
Middle-aged.
No, not Bachelor.
They're
it's
about
like,
50. What's middle-aged?
They're anywhere from 40 to 60.
Are they really 40? I thought they were like 50 to 60.
There's some in their 40s there.
Okay. Oh.
But but there's not many because you have to be old enough to have a son old enough to date as well. So this show is based around, I think it's like 10 women and 10 men. All the women are, middle age or getting close to middle age. And all of the men are the sons of these women. And they're obviously like very young in their 20s, maybe getting close to 30, but
I don't even think they're that old. I think they're like 25.
So these women are watching their sons date these women in their age group.
And then they're dating their sons. And there's the only options you have is their sons.
Yeah, doing like a resort down.
You should do that for men and see what happens.
Do it for who?
Men. Like single, dads and their daughters go on, and it's like
do that for men all the time.
I know, but not when you're like. What would you do if your daughter? No, I'm saying, but if your daughter, and those are the only options. I mean, would there be fights? Would there be like, hey?
I feel like it's way more socially acceptable for a 60-year-old man.
But you're seeing it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think
it's
it
like
would get.
We know that you're going on a date with your daughter. and you know who the guy is. Like, no, you can't leave.
There'd be some fights. Can you imagine the old geriatric ass fighting each other?
All right, you said there were 40.
Well, 40 to...
That's...
Don't get punched. Don't get knocked out, yo. I'm about to jump across this table. No, but I don't think, chime in the comments if y'all think that the reverse of that would be more intriguing than
I think
the way it's set up right
I think they're both fun.
Yeah.
You can't leave. And it's like, oh my gosh, the only options we have are our children. That's odd.
Right.
And then it's like, well, I wanted to come on a show and, I feel like the men one would be like fistfights.
Yeah. Maybe.
These women don't care. I mean, it's their sons.
How would you care if your son, let's just say you're 60 and your son dated a woman your age?
60?
Yeah. So, let's say 55. So that makes him, 21, 22, something like that?
See, the thing is I feel like if I knew my son, I'd be okay because most men, I don't know though, if you get like these women out in the wild, they'd make the move first. I feel like I would feel more confident in that. I don't know. I'm on it too. So like, whatever. Let's just drink together and just forget.
So we're talking about like just real world scenarios. Just
God, no.
20 years from now.
I'd beat the shit out of her, not him. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Why would you beat the shit out of her?
Because I would say, what's wrong with you? He's a baby.
She likes a younger man.
How old is he?
He's 25.
And she's 60?
And she'll be your age, so let's just call her 55.
I'd break her knees. I'd do something.
Let that man live.
I don't know. There's
Some people are into older women.
I would say I am not sure what I did wrong. And why are you into, like, ew?
Maybe the opposite. Maybe you were like helicopter mom, and he was like, man, I need somebody.
That's the same?
Maybe he has a fetish now that he wants to put on a diaper and have a woman take care of him.
I'm going to throw up. God, what's wrong with you?
Man, I'm crazy. The question of the day. Love languages. All right, so we all have them, right? Or at least they say we all have them.
I think we do.
You think we do. So the importance of love languages and the importance of us being able to express what our love languages are to our spouse. But on the flip side of the coin, the importance of our spouse recognizing what our love languages are and acting on that, So we were talking earlier today, and I think, Brittany, what'd you say your love languages were?
So I think mine right now, because I do feel like they change.
You feel like they change as we get
over
older?
Time. Or just over time. I feel like, when you evolve as a person, just like your interests change, I feel like that will as well. Like, I remember, like, 10 years ago, my main one was acts of service. Like, it was that for sure. Like, when somebody did something for me or to help me out, I felt loved. That is not on my list anymore.
Really?
Not
okay.
at all.
So now
it's not even my top two.
What's the
was always
list?
So I would say, I think mine would be words of affirmation and quality time.
Okay. Okay, so mine are words of affirmation and physical touch. And like you said, I'm going to agree with you. I do think that as we get older and we become more, hopefully we become more sophisticated as people, wiser, older, smarter, that our love languages do change based on our life status and then what we learn as we grow older, the situations we go through and the people we interact with, and then we find out that maybe some things that we thought were important to us aren't as important to us. So for you said words of affirmation and quality time. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the quality time aspect, is it just a situation to where you can, as long as you're alone or you don't even have to be alone because you have children now, right? And so there's going to be a lot of situations where just being alone are not an option. How do you someone who embraces quality time as a love language, what's the hierarchy of that? What do you have to be doing to that qualifies as quality time?
So, you mentioned I have kids. So my love language of quality time never happened until I had kids and realized how much I enjoy being with somebody who I like or love alone without them.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And how I needed it.
Okay.
Like, it could be like walking around the mall. Just something, sharing an experience together, doing something. It doesn't have to be
like mall walking, like in the 7
like
a.m. Like 7 a.m.
Let me show my age. Yeah, like speed walking in the mall.
So quality. So if you're sitting on the couch watching a movie,
that's fine.
With the kids, with the kids there, that wouldn't be in your book. That would not be quality time.
No, because I feel like that would be like family time. I mean, like romantically, like
Okay.
it'd be after they go to sleep and we're watching a movie together.
Okay.
But yeah,
And just occupying the same space that's good enough
just
for you.
being together,
Okay.
alone, awake, not distracted by phones, by whatever. Being together, one on one. I find that more important to me now because I'm always with my kids, so that's going to fill that space. So when I have that, then I can connect.
Right.
I feel like.
Yeah. Do you, and I'm just going to go to like some questions that are popping up to me right now, right?
Do it.
So if you know your spouse's love language and quality time is not one of their love language, is it even more important to you, or is it more satisfying knowing that they're kind of embracing your love language, knowing that that's not theirs? Like theirs might be
like they don't want to be with me.
Gift giving, not want to be with you, but it's just not.
Right.
It doesn't speak to their soul as much as it speaks to yours.
Yeah.
But they're still going through the process of making sure that they're still.
I would feel very appreciated, and I would feel very loved that they're doing it, even though it doesn't like fulfill them.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I would hope they would, because it would hurt my feelings. Like I don't want to be alone with you. Like what?
Well, then, but that's where the issue comes in, because if that's not their love language or one of their love language, it's not filling their cup as much as it's filling yours.
Well, it could.
So
yeah.
then, what's the
so say theirs is
there?
like physical touch, then we're touching during that time being with each other. So we're both being our
But what if you're not touching during that time? That's still filling your cup, but not necessarily filling his cup.
I don't know. Now you're challenging me.
No, because that's where I feel like
Yeah.
the breakdown comes in, because we have our love language, and usually the way that it's been categorized, we have our main love language, and then we have like a secondary love language, right? And so if you have a spouse, especially if you have like a good spouse who makes it their obligation to address your love languages and follow through, but their love language are not the same as yours, then there has to be some sort of giving back to that.
Right. So let me give you an explanation. Instead of say I'm with someone who, we had this conversation, like, how do you feel loved? And say middle of the day, he knows I'm not doing anything, and he's like, hey, do you want to go grab coffee? Or do you want to do something? Do you want to just do something for an hour, just us alone? Like, that is what I mean. Not like a full day, a full whatever, but hey, I want to, or do you want to grab lunch real quick? Do you want to, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean in quality time and going out of your way and, like, I don't know, making time for that person, but together. Doesn't have to be more than 20 minutes.
But then
just
later on, do you go home and like give him a good old stiff whacking?
What does that mean?
Because if his love language is physical touch, right?
Why would I give him a good stiff whacking? Like, what?
Sex.
We know, but how would I give him a stiff? What's going on?
Yeah, whatever your guy's into,
I guess if that's what he wants.
Good old stiff whacking.
The world is his oyster at that point if he takes me out for Starbucks. I don't know. Whatever you want.
Take it to Chili's, get whatever you want.
It's true. It's true.
No, but so I feel like what happens is that we become so absorbed with our love languages and are we being fulfilled in that way that we forget that, all right, now it's time to give back.
Well, I feel like when you're loved good enough by someone, the other person, if they don't reciprocate, then that's on, like, they should be like, oh my goodness, they're giving so much of them. If you do love them back, like, you would want to, no matter what.
Yeah, sure.
Like, what is yours? Like, what do you mean by words of affirmation? Like, how does, like, love letters or, like, telling you every day, like, compliments?
Well, I know for me, like, words of affirmation, I'm one of those people that I love when my spouse, whoever it is, well, of course, I'm married now, so Jamie, is able to verbally express the way she
to you,
to me, yeah, to me. Like I have this saying with other people, and I don't know why I started this saying, but I started because I feel like a lot of us, like society right now, is like this, and I say, talk to me like you text to me. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when we're behind the disguise of like our phone or email or a computer, it's really easy to express yourself because it's like you don't have the fallout of like any negative response that we might get. You're not going to see how the person, you're assuming that they're like, oh, that was great, or I really appreciate that. But the anxiety of saying that to that person face to face is just that, is anxious, right? And so I feel like we've fallen into kind of like this trend of...
Well, it's safer too.
Yeah,
so it's like, I'm
sure,
safe to say whatever I want, but I'll never say it to you.
Yeah, like, and so while it's great to get a text and to say you are so high, you're so sexy, but if you hear that enough, especially for a woman, if you like, I feel like you can only hear you're hot so much before it just starts to, you get desensitized by it, and it's like, all right, well, here's another motherfucker telling me how good I look. That can't carry as much weight as it did the first time you heard it, right? So kind of the same thing. But if someone comes up to you, you're at, I don't know, at the laundromat, hey, looking like shit, and someone just comes up to you and just says, you know what, you're beautiful. You're a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
That's going to carry more weight, right? And so...
that sounds kind of creepy, though.
I mean, come on. Every situation is different. Yeah. Like, if a creepy
guy
says it...
But I don't feel like compliments necessarily have to do with someone's looks. I feel like... Because obviously it's one of mine. Actually, you gave me a really good compliment the other day, which almost like made me tear up. You were like, hey, I haven't told you how much I think your kids look like you. And I'm like, and I really meant it. That was the nicest thing. And I'm like, that makes me feel so good. Because I don't, like, I feel like there's other things beyond looks that you can get complimented for.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Or like to be thankful, like, hey, just expressing gratitude towards someone. Like, those are words of affirmation. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
being verbal and what, I don't know.
And that's why the spectrum is so large, right? It's because there are so many different ways that we can make each other feel good.
Yeah.
And so that's why the love language thing in itself to me is kind of like distorted, just because, while
you love a good compliment. Let's be
I
real.
Do love a good compliment.
And then you'll ride on that wave until it literally is no more.
I do love a good compliment. But I love, even more so, I love a good compliment from someone that I care about.
Right.
Like, so, like, because I know, like, my value in your life is as high as your value in my life. And that's the way that, I rationalize those comments or that love language. So,
yeah. Well, just be like, the same compliment coming from a stranger and then it coming from somebody who,
right,
is important to you is a lot different.
Yeah.
The weight carries. So what was your other one? Physical touch.
Physical touch.
Gosh.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be...
What does that mean for you? Don't
anything.
say it.
Anything. I'm just like I'm a hugger. Like people who know me, they know I'm a hugger.
I know, creepy.
Creeper. I just think that there's so, especially in the world that we live in now, where we came off of COVID and people weren't interacting with it on any scale. People weren't interacting, and I just been coming off of that and getting back to what we call normal, as normal as we can get. For me, it's like so much value in just seeing, especially somebody I haven't seen in a long time, and just give them a hug. I hug my friends all the time. It's just
I don't feel like love languages are just designed for romantic relationships. I feel like they're for friends too.
Yeah,
so
100%. 100%.
And that's how you build long lasting. 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to be understood in that way.
Yeah, man.
Because I could, pick something. Actually, you better love that I do this. When you're like, grab me a Celsius, and I'd go and do it.
Well, you're on the way in anyway.
No,
and you were going to probably stop.
Most of the time, it's after I work out. I'm like, I'll do it for you. And that's acts of service. You better.
I truly appreciate you grabbing me a Celsius. I really do. But no, it is important. So I consider myself to have a really great friend group. It's not a large friend group, but I don't have any friends that are like new friends. Like my newest friend I've known for like almost 10 years now. You know what I'm saying? So
I've just met you.
Well, other than you, present company is excluded, of course. But even us, we've known each other for going on 4 years now, right? 3 or 4 years. So it's like one of those things to where I am very protective over my friend group, and I'm very selective on who I call a friend. Like everyone you laugh and joke with aren't your friend. Yeah. Right. And so I value my friend group. Like every guy that was in my wedding party, everyone in my wedding party, I have a very, very particular friendship with. But none is better or worse than the other one. It's just different. Like my buddy Alex and Trent, we went in Baja. We all went to school together, right? And then my buddy Mike Gina Scully, we were in business together, and we created a friendship based on a common ground that we already had. And then like my buddy Dwayne and my buddy Joey, like we all had like all those friends. While the relationships are different, none of them are more or less important than the other one. And so, like, I hug those guys. When I see them, if I haven't seen them for a long time, you're like, hey, buddy, how you doing? It's never like just dap. Like, we're like...
You kiss them.
See, you had to make it weird. You had to make it weird. And the good thing about that is, like, for example, my buddy Joey, he lives in Texas. He's lived in Texas for the last 10 years. Haven't seen him. We text back and forth every now and then. I told him, I was like, I would love to have you at my wedding party. And Joey is the type of person, he don't do, he would never go out of his way to do anything for anyone if he didn't want to. He's not one of those blow smoke up your ass type of dudes. Yeah. And he was like, I'm there, amigo. Like, just like that. Just like, and that's kind of what I expected out of him, because we had like a true friendship. It wasn't like one of those things that, just because we haven't seen each other or talked to each other.
I'm sure when you guys saw each other, it was like nothing ever changed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I'm with my group of friends.
Yeah, so, and that's important because we all don't have that, and it's hard to cultivate that, especially this day and age. I don't know if it's different. I mean,
well, everyone gets older, they get married, they have kids, they go their separate ways. Everyone, grows apart, but when you can come back together and like nothing's happened, you don't skip a beat, you just left off where you were.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Do you think that it's more important to address in a relationship, in a romantic relationship? Do you feel like it's more important to address the woman's love languages than it is the man's?
No. Okay. I think it's equal. And actually, matter of fact, when I was in my last relationship, I know it's nerdy, because he was having a hard time communicating, and I'm like, look, I'm just going to make it this easy. I got us like a little workbook, and it's so nerdy, and I'm sure he hated it. But I'm like, if you can't use your words. At least you can write down, answer these questions. But I made it fun, like a game, a drinking game. I don't know. I tried my best to I'm never going to try that hard again. But I don't think that anyone.
Why do you say you're never going to try that hard
because,
again?
if it's not working, why? I was just trying to make something work that just shouldn't have been.
Sometimes it's like working. That one missing piece. And
I was trying to understand him.
We all get tired.
But that's just who I am as a person. But so I don't feel like anyone is less or more. I think it's an equal relationship. Partnership. Yeah. I feel like getting into a relationship, you should try, because obviously the honeymoon stage is going to wear off when you first start dating. If you move in together, you're just going to get used to each other. It's just going to get maybe boring at times, but I feel like in those times you should help each other make their lives easier.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. If not, then I don't know.
See, I do feel like that I'm just going to go by what we call like a traditional heterosexual relationship, because I feel like we just need to cover all the bases. I do feel like that the woman's love languages need to be addressed more so and or more frequently than the males. And this is why. It's because we put women in a situation to where we want them to do all, be all, right? We want them to be a nurturer. We want them to, and in this day and age, a lot of us don't have the luxury of just one income household, right? We can agree to that. So, and if you have that, great, beautiful, you do you. But more so than not, we don't have that luxury. So now you're asking a woman to be a nurturer to the kids. You're asking her to be a lover. You're asking her to be a provider. You're asking her to wear all these hats that honestly the man doesn't have to wear. And if he does wear them, he doesn't have to wear them as frequently as the woman has to wear them. So you ask the man to be a provider. And if you got a good man, he's going to be a great provider. You're asking him to be a lover. If you got a great man, he's going to be that. But he's never going to be as good as nurturer as the woman's going to be. It's just, it's not built in us. We're the protectors, right? Mm-hmm. So you ask for protection, that's what we're going to do. But that doesn't mean that a woman is not a protector as well. Just by definition, a nurturer has to be a protector, right? And so because of that, you're pouring out your cup so much faster than a man is. And before y'all just shoot me in the parking lot for saying this, I need you to understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the feelings of a woman and the emotional state of a woman is more important than a man. Not saying that. What I am saying is that men, generally speaking, have so much influence on the emotional and the mental health of the women in our lives. It just is what it is. And for us not to see the importance of that is going to be an injustice to the entire relationship, because we ask so much of women on a regular basis. And this is not something, you can't turn that shit off. You can't, if a man's the protector or the man's the provider, when you come home from work, you can sit down, you can sit back, you can do a little bit of shit at home, you can watch TV, you can go in your man cave. You have so many more opportunities to purge all the negative shit that went on throughout the day, right? But in a traditional relationship, the woman doesn't have the opportunity to do that as frequently, because when they get home from work, when they get home from the store, more times than not, kids are going to go, mommy, 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 and more than they're going to go say, daddy, 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 because it's just what it is. Because again, just based on gender roles, the woman is the nurturer. She's the one that the kids are going to go to. They're the ones that the kids are going to get the warm and fuzzies from when, if they have, a project at school or they had a great day, they're going to go and see mom. Now, again, I think us as men, we have either a hard time understanding how much mental and emotional energy, it just goes into being a woman, or we're so consumed with what we have going on in our lives that we just can't devote enough of our internal energy into trying to understand. And some dudes just don't give a fuck. Some dudes like, I got my own shit going on, and it's just, make it work. I'm making it work. You make it work. And I think that because of the world we live in, we really have all right, go get it type of attitude. Like, if you want something, you want to make something happen, go make that shit happen. You want more money, go make it happen. You want a better life, go make it happen. We see Instagram, it's like, hey, you want to be this, you want to be that, do these things, do this, go read a book a month, go wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and work out, do a backflip. Like, it's like we live in this world to where we've been like, that's pushed down our throat. And reality is just not like that. Some days you just don't want to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? And for men, I feel like we grow up having sort of like this the strong survive, right? We have like this really like alpha mentality because our dad taught us to it, or our uncles or whoever taught us that. And it's like a real man makes it happen. A real man makes it work. And there's a lot of emotional energy that goes into being just that person, right? But in doing that, we forget that it takes just as much emotional energy for a woman to like get ready to be bombarded by the kids when she walks in the door because she knows that's what's going to happen.
Can I cut you off right there?
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
loved everything you said, and I was about to cry. Thank you for acknowledging all of those things. But when we're talking about emotions from a man, when you were saying all that, this is what it gets me. Men don't have outlets to literally go and talk to somebody if they're down, because they don't get that choice. In society, men have to, like you said, you have to go get shit done, be tough, be the big guy. You don't have time to cry. You don't have time to feel feelings. They don't have, like, you're not calling your guy friends. I mean, maybe you're, emotionally aware. Yeah. But men don't do that. Girls have outlets where I can call up a girl and be like, I'm going to literally lay in everything I am pissed off about with my husband, with life, whatever. But men don't have that.
They do have it.
But they don't feel like it's acceptable, I don't think.
They
feel like they're weak and they bury it down. So maybe that's why they go to their, I don't know. I've got 2 boys. I'm trying to, I see both things, but I do feel like men have that, you have to provide, you have to pay the bills, you have to literally, it's not a joke, this is life, don't be weak. And if you're weak, then why, you're not a man. And absolutely. So I do feel like, I don't know, I feel bad on that end too for men, because girls don't have a problem with confiding in other women. I mean, I will literally just lay in on whoever, because that's what women do. Men don't. I mean, I don't know one man who's literally confiding in another man genuinely and openly, all the time. I mean, my girlfriends have a group text, and they know everything, and we're just freely going. Because that's just what women do.
Well, that's a nurture thing, right? Like going back to, because growing up, women are taught or put in an environment to where that's more
dolls,
okay.
Dollhouse, you take care of this.
That's more okay. Men are not. I talked about the whole alpha male thing. Now, and you're right, men won't as openly express when they got shit going on like women would. And honestly, even if you had a lot of outlets for men to do that, I still don't think they would. Just because, like you said,
if a little boy falls and he scrapes his knee and he starts to cry, the dad's going to say, toughen up. You're okay. If his daughter did the same thing, he'd hold her.
100%.
And it's well, what if they're both still, they feel the pain? Just hold them, both the same. Treat them because I have 2 boys. I see it all the time. And I, of course, a mom. I'm it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel upset. But coming from, a man's point of view, doing that, you're okay, walk it off.
Because the opposite of that is like detrimental.
I know.
Really, it is, because when if you have a man, and this is if you have a young boy who falls, like you said, scrapes his knee, and he's coddled by a man, like dad coddles, like like the way that a woman would, then you've automatically started setting markers in that kid's head, right? You have.
No, I get it, yeah. But it's just crazy how we're just not, we're not designed to be the same. But it's just, like, I feel too, like, for men. And I probably wouldn't if I didn't have 2 boys and I see it. Because I'm like, I want to protect them forever, but I know that society has different, like, I want them to be open and aware of their emotions, and I always try to talk to them, but I know it will change.
Yeah, it will change. But that's like the projection of it too, right? It's like if you have that kid that scrapes his knee, it's going to be, and dad will probably say, oh man, that sucks, but you're all right, shake it off,
Oh, my kids come
rub
to
some
me,
dirt on it.
right. My kids come to me differently than they go to their dad.
Yeah.
Like, they will literally want me to hold them. They're like, they fall into my arms.
Yeah. And they know you're going to do that for them, right? But they won't go to their dad because they know their dad is going to give them
if they get hurt, they only want me.
They know they're going to get the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But that's not going to teach them
it doesn't.
like male behavior.
Right.
Or it's not going to distract from what we view as masculine male behavior, right?
But I feel like if you're like, so it brings it out to the point of acknowledging when you're in a relationship or marriage, when you have to, grow up like that, and which I feel like every boy does. Like, how are you going to meet like your wife in those moments when she does have other outlets, but she does wear all the hats because women are amazing. But so are men, So I'm wondering if like men just don't know how to communicate.
Well, no,
or if they're like, they've got it because obviously my mom did that. My mom always handled women just handle it.
Yeah. Well, practice makes habit too.
Yeah.
I think if you, like we talked about, when you're a little girl, as you're growing up, you become used to laying into your friends and being able to confide in them. And if men get that, we get that at a much later age when we're mature, when we understand, when we're more comfortable in the skin we're in. And so, but by that time, you guys, women, have had decades of being able to do that. You're practice, you're initiated in that. We're not. And so we have to put ourselves in a position to where we have the opportunity to do that. And the more we do that, the more comfortable we get with it, the better we get at it, the better we get at expressing ourselves. But it's one of those things, it's repetitious. Like we have to devote more time to just what our mental and emotional health needs to look like for us to be a productive husband or father, or,
Well, then life hits you. Multiple things happen during those times, and then it, it affects you emotionally, and then I don't know. I feel like everybody should just be kind to one another. And if you're living together, I feel like it's a good thing to be like aware of the person you're with.
Yeah, 100%.
And everything that they're about. I feel like, to make it work long term, or at least to be happy,
Couldn't agree more.
I don't know.
Couldn't agree more, Britt.
But what about Brittany?
Speaking of Britt. So we had we are very good friends with and back up a little bit. Chime in. Let me know if you think like love languages. Do you think they're important? Do you think it's more important to really monitor your own love languages and to make sure they're being embraced? Or is it more important to embrace the love languages of your partners? And also, mental health and emotional health as it pertains to being a man versus being a woman. Is it more important, less important, equally? And let me know why you think that. I was having a conversation. So we're really good friends with our next door neighbors. They're great. They're great. We spend a lot of time with them, and we enjoy it. We do all the neighbor shit. So, but it got heated the other night because we were talking about Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. And I know this is an old fucking argument. And I said something about Oh, we were talking about Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel and how he got caught out there with
his co-star
Alicia Wainwright.
Yeah, when they were shooting a movie.
Yeah, so they were, but this was like 2 years ago. And we haven't seen fuck all of a movie yet.
I know, you're right. Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying.
I didn't even think about that. So, probably because she was like, it's never going to happen. Don't finish it.
These projects are, but we were watching, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, and Jessica Biel was in it. And of course, Jessica Biel has never been in anything where she didn't look fantastic.
Oh,
unless she really wanted to look bad.
Naturally gorgeous. She's perfect.
Beautiful,
she's strong,
great shape.
everything.
She works, she's all the things, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about how Justin Timberlake could actually like cheat on somebody like Jessica Biel. And I said, like a dumbass, well, if you're gonna cheat on Jessica Biel with anyone, Alicia Wainwright is the one to do it with. Totally joking. I was totally joking.
Really?
But if you don't know who Alicia Wainwright is, she's an actress. She looks, and I think she looks just like Alicia Keys. I mean,
she's beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
But I mean, he's married.
It doesn't.
So.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right. That's not the point. The point.
God,
so
Antoine.
That conversation took us, and then our neighbor, she was like, "Well, Justin Timberlake is like a serial cheater." I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
like,
I really do think he
cheated on
is.
Britney Spears. I was like, "What?" Did that really happen? I was like, Britney Spears cheated on.
No, this was
Justin
after. No, it was
Timberlake,
after.
like,
No, this was after he cheated on her. You had to read. I read her book. I mean,
so this is just coming from her point of view. Okay,
no, it's not.
So where is the?
It's no.
I need
Google
evidence.
it. No, it's all over it. It's all over. He was cheating on her multiple times, and then she finally was like, "Well, I'm gonna sleep with one of my this guy named, I think it's Wade or Wayne.
Wade Robson, the dancer, right?
Yeah.
So that.
But that was after.
So that was the first thing. That was the first cheating incident that I ever heard of.
I mean, they were young.
And
they weren't.
They were young. They're like 20 years old.
It doesn't really matter, but
and he wrote the Crimea River thing, right?
Yeah.
And then she came back and said that ruined her life. 20 years later, that song ruined my life.
Well, she was under her father. She couldn't say anything until she was in a conservatorship under her dad, so she couldn't do anything herself.
Well,
I actually saw her in D.C. one of her last tour. She had to go on like a travel MGM tour.
Okay.
And Roman was like 1 year old, so it was like 2018. Saw her, amazing. It was in at the MGM in D.C. And I think
does she put on a good show though?
Yeah, I mean, she didn't sing. I mean, she was lip singing. But I love her. I mean, as a woman who grew up in that generation of like Britney Spears
She's like a
and
showman.
NSYNC, I think
Does she have a lot of songs? I know
Yeah,
she got like
tons.
She got like 5.
I mean, I've never felt
Britney
more
got like
alive.
5 good songs.
She's got a million.
I've
Never felt more alive. Don't mess with my girl. I mean, she's nuts. But
dude, people go to bat for Britney. You know?
because she
Because
went
what?
through. I mean, people treated her like shit. I mean,
I get it.
I mean,
get it.
she's messed up now because of what everyone has done to her. All the pills they just shoved down her throat to like not feel, not think. I mean, obviously her brain is messed up. Clearly from her Instagram post. I mean, I still tag them and I'm like, oh, I laugh. I mean, only human. But I feel bad at the same time. And I'm like, man, the one where she was dancing like a nice and the dog was like, what the hell?
That's my favorite one, dude.
It's like, you see this little Pomeranian, like, what?
The dog like dodging
stop. I mean, so she's got clearly issues. I don't feel like Justin Timberlake caused many of them. I mean, she's been married multiple times, and they haven't lasted. She's got her kids taken away from her.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's so
feel
crazy
bad for her.
Like even that, like, and what you just said, and just piggybacking off of that, it's crazy how when the book came out. Like, because JT was like the guy, right? He was on everybody's show. He was on everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
Well, no, he was under
the
the radar. I mean, nobody really talked about him after that whole cheating thing happened. Then he was like, everything was just like, we don't mention Justin Timberlake. We know who he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's funny. He's on, SNL sometimes. But then Brittany finally was able to do her book, but it wasn't mostly about Justin in the book. It was about like her baby's daddy, who she was married to, Kevin Federline.
Didn't she say he had like a little dick or something? Did she say
Justin
that in the book?
Oh yeah, Tootsie Roll Timberlake. I love that, and I could see it too. That little bit, like honestly, Jessica Biel is so 100 million times better than Justin Timberlake. I've never been a Justin Timberlake fan.
But remember when they got together, he was like the it guy.
Yeah, because we were all like, I mean, that's when they were like 19, 18 years old.
They were in their
16.
20s, 30s. But also, it's like, what's wrong with like sticking a marriage out? Like, now I don't condone cheating at all.
They were never married though, her and Justin.
Who?
Brittany.
Oh no, I'm talking about Jessica Biel.
Oh.
Jessica Biel. Like I don't, but obviously at this point they decided to stay together.
We don't know if they
knows.
Right. We don't know if they actually cheated. I mean, what's considered cheating? I mean, they were literally rubbing each other's feet with their own feet. I don't know. It was weird.
No, they were like holding hands too.
Oh.
There's a video of them in New Orleans, sitting on that balcony.
So they wasn't she like sitting on his lap? So I'm pretty sure Jessica was like, "Hey, that movie's never coming out.
Calm that shit down."
And
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess again, 20 years later, almost 20 years later, it's like we're still talking about this shit, and people are still like the fact that she came out with that book and he felt like he had to apologize.
He said he did. He said he had nothing to apologize for.
No, that was later on.
Oh, which I agree though. I mean, your children. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah,
he's married with kids. Yeah. She's got a bunch of kids. She's been married multiple times. Like, let it die.
And yeah.
But if you want to write about it to let everyone know, to remember it, that's fine. I mean, Britney's got like a following, unfortunately smaller than Taylor Swift's, but it's sort of like that. Live and die, whatever she says, we will go to bat.
Like people getting like death threats. Then Kim Kardashian just lose like 100,000 followers because she had a diss song about.
And then Northwest posted the video. I love
Kanye.
Her daughter. It is little
She's
Kanye. And then she
dude.
like, God, I mean, but Kim deserves it. I mean, she was a bitch to her own mother. Like on national TV multiple times, she is getting what she deserves.
But it goes to show, like I remember when last year when all the stuff with Kanye going crazy went out, and they tried to not invite Kanye to her birthday party, and Travis Scott gave him the address so he can go to the birthday party.
That's messed up.
Like kids know, kids fucking know, and if you are one of those people where no matter if you're the woman or the man in a relationship, if you're trying to treat the spouse like shit or the ex-spouse like shit, and you're using the kids as leverage, they might not be, if they're young, they might not be able to articulate what's going on right then and there, but they know, they see that shit, and as they grow up, they're gonna just have like resentment
100%
towards you. Like it's like kids are not.
Kids will grow up and they'll know as adults everything that happened. They see it. They're living there. But my whole thing, I read that Kim, the whole reason why North always wants to be with Kanye is because he's a hands-on dad. He doesn't have babysitters or whatever, but she's got like this whole row of help. Yeah. Like she probably doesn't even spend time with her. Yeah. That's why she's probably so mad at her mom. I would be too.
Yeah,
it's like
what? You're growing up in some bullshit ass like.
And like Kanye's got her on stage with songs. It's like, hey girl, let's go. Yeah.
You see the picture? This was like a few years ago when the photographer was trying to like take a picture of them when they were playing. It was the two little girls and they were playing in like a park or something. And the cameraman, I mean, he wasn't super close, but he was close enough to start to kind of be invasive. And Kanye just came by. He was like, no.
Good for him.
Don't take. And he didn't like, buck at him or anything like that. He would just like kind of shoot him away. And like we say what we want about Kanye, but Kanye has really done a great job of through all his, because we know that Kanye has mental health issues. We know that shit. And for him to still be a present dad, and we can say when he's by himself, when he's with his wife, he does this crazy shit, whatever. But any content when it comes to him being with the kids, that motherfucker is spot on.
He's great. Yeah. I also read that when his wife is with his kids, she has to be fully clothed because obviously she wears nothing out when it's just them two. But I feel like it was like on TMZ because they were like pictures of North and her holding hands and she was fully covered. And it was like saying like, yeah, that's Kanye's rule. You have to be fully clothed when you're around the kids.
Yeah, man.
I just think
he knows what's up. Yeah.
I don't think I mean, he can do whatever he wants on his own time and good for him. Let him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I ain't mad at Kanye at all. But we'll see what happens with this. Again, like leave Justin Timberlake the fuck alone, okay? Like
I don't think he's that. I mean, he's a funny guy.
He's had enough. Like
I think he hasn't,
Britney shit went, she came out on the other side. Like, we know that she went through some bullshit. We get it. She came out on the other side. She wrote a book. And he just got tired of apologizing. He was like, cry me a river. He did that shit on stage, which was gangster as fuck. Like, are you going to still apologize to Britney?
I think he's mad that he's got a small dick. Like, I mean, that was the best thing in the whole book. It's like, yes, that's all we want to know.
But, like, she could be lying. She could just be throwing shade.
Well, then he should prove it.
If, like, we all know all these people who cheated with that Justin Timberlake cheated with. There's a list, right? Don't you think that another one of them would have came at some point?
Well, maybe they just don't want to be like, yeah, it was terrible.
And said,
nothing to brag about.
I feel like the rumors would have been out there.
I don't feel like girls are like that,
all the shit that's coming out about Diddy, these rumors were circling years before this.
I don't really feel like girls talk about like guys' like if there's like it's forgettable. I don't feel like it's like, oh my God, he was this big or this, I just don't. I don't know. I mean, but if he's got a micro one, maybe they sign NDAs for until he dies.
All these people, like I'm telling you, man, like all this shit about NDAs.
You have to.
Like these many motherfuckers are not signing NDAs. I'm sorry. Like it's just not happening.
Well, most things that you do that are most of those parties you have to sign NDAs.
Yeah, I get that. But like people saying that Cassie signed an NDA, that's why she's finally coming out now.
No, it's true. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's true.
Or maybe it could just be a money grab.
It doesn't matter. Get paid. Get paid.
I'm with it. Get paid. But don't front like it's something. Like, for example, they raided Diddy's house. We know that, right? Why the fuck is Homeland Security raiding Diddy's house?
Because I think it was, obviously it's on a federal level, so it's not civil. So it's either drug related or I think it was underage girl stuff. So it's like the Epstein sort of thing. So they were looking for like child pornography.
Right. But with no arrest warrant, they still haven't arrested Diddy to this day.
They don't need to. Well, yeah.
So if the cops come to your house, if Chesapeake police come to your house and like, this is what we're gonna do. There's no arrest warrant. You're not in trouble, but we're just gonna come and fuck your shit up just because you did something.
They just wanted they just had a warrant to raid his house to find out if it was true.
And after that, no arrest warrant. Still to this day.
We don't know.
Listen, all right.
Call him up.
Call Diddy?
Yeah, go ahead.
I ain't got Diddy number.
Shut up. Okay.
I ain't got Diddy number. Closing arguments.
This turned real weird.
No, you turn real weird.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, just like.
Say that 5 times fast. Real.
Look, you can't say it one time fast. Oh, man. We're gonna get out of here. What we gonna shove off with let these people know. Make sure you follow us, please. 5-star reviews on all of our podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, and YouTube, of course. If you like us on YouTube, please give us hit the subscribe. Hit the alert so you can get our newest podcast. We come out with one just about every week, and we love doing it. So hopefully you guys are finding entertainment in it. And you can find Brittany on Instagram at Brittany Daniels. Brittany what? What do you say? Brittany Daniels on Instagram. She's on Facebook at Brett Augustine.
Okay.
And she's on TikTok.
Edit that out.
She's on Britt on
goodness.
On TikTok. She's on LinkedIn as that girl over there.
Okay. And farmers.com.
She's on Hinge.
God, shut up. Anyway.
You can find me on Antoine the Juggernaut on Instagram, Antoine Britt on Facebook and TikTok. And X. I'm on X too. So get on it. Follow Hold Your Applause
And you
podcast.
can find him tomorrow when you wake up and you look for those jail searches. Who got arrested the night before?
They might raid my shit tonight. No, I am. So wish me luck, guys. I am having my my tooth extracted tomorrow, so that's gonna suck. But root canal going bad, and
one step to dentures.
No, it's in the back. It's a molar, so it'll be cool.
I'll still be able to see it.
On the behalf of my beautiful co-host, Britt Daniels, and myself, Antoine the Juggernaut, we thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.
Bye.